but he certainly would support a study of reparations. We understands that we don't need a study to take action right now in systemic racism, so he wants to take actions within his own government in the meantime.
So Joe Biden said he want to study reparations before he give reparations for black people. But how long did he study the anti-Asian hate bill before he gave the Asian community $156 million? And how long did he study before he gave the anti-LGBTQ hate bill $100 million? And how long did he study before he asked Congress for $30 billion for Afghan relief? And how long did he study after giving Israel $3.8 billion? But now Joe Biden has another group that he wants to give reparations to.
Administrations and negotiations to pay millions of dollars in reparations to families who were separated at the U.S.-Mexico border under Trump's zero-tolerance policy. The payments would amount to $450,000 per person.
Don't scare Negroes today with no badge or no white skin or no white sheet or no white anything else. The police the same way. They put their club upside your head and then turn around and accuse you of attacking them. Every case of police brutality against a Negro follows the same pattern. They attack you, bust you all upside your mouth, and then take you to court and charge you with assault. What kind of democracy is that? What kind of freedom is that? What kind of social or political system is it when a black man has no voice in court, has nothing on his side other than what the white man chooses to give him? My brothers and sisters, we have to put a stop to this, and it will never be stopped until we stop it ourselves. They attack the victim, and then the criminal who attacked the victim accuses the victim of attacking him. Yes, sir. This is American justice. Yes, sir. That's right. This is American democracy. Yes, and those of you who are familiar with it know that in America, democracy is hypocrisy. Right. Now, if I'm wrong, put me in jail. But if you can't prove that a democracy is not hypocrisy, then don't put your hands on me.
Well, Jordan Peterson joins me now. Jordan Peterson, welcome.
I'm sorry for getting emotional, but I'm afraid every minute women are gaining more weight. It's not going the other way. I'm sorry to say. They won't stop eating. It's not like it makes me happy to say this. I wish it did. I wish I could say, yay, look how fat they are. Hooray, let's throw a parade. And what do the men do? Who are they supposed to make love to? Men can't reach their holes. It's like, sure, you want to get on top? Well, you bloody well sign my will and testament, because I'm not going to make it through this. Happy birthday to who? Not me. Not any man I know. I've been to McDonald's. I've been to Wendy's. It's all women in there. It's like, oh God, how about a Me Too for she also ate all my fries? No child should go to bed hungry because their mother ate all their food. When I was a boy in Canada, you used to be able to leave your pies cooling on the windowsill. Good luck with that now. Don't blink. There's a fat woman eating your pie. I was afraid Lizzo was going to eat that flute.
These Negroes aren't asking for no nation. They're trying to crawl back on the plantation. A revolution is bloody. Revolution is hostile. Revolution knows no compromise. Revolution overturns and destroys everything that gets in its way. And you sitting around here like a knot on the wall saying, I'm going to love these folks no matter how much they hate me. No, you need a revolution.
Assalamu alaikum. Mr. Moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends and our enemies.
Bismillah wa salatu wa salam rasulullah wa ba'd. In the name of Allah, and may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon his last and final messenger. As to what follows, family, friends, foes, haters, and hateettes, welcome back to the Feachaz. I greet you all in peace and love with no hatred in my heart. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So before we begin, please like, please subscribe, and please share. As you know, we got a lot of haters up in here. And family, this subject here about the Halloween in Saudi Arabia, I got like so many messages about this topic from my personal WhatsApp, and everybody sending me stuff. And then I'm reading some of the comments on social media about this thing. And I'm like, man, the hypocrisy is just delicious. It's like so thick. It is absolutely outrageously thick. And it's just crazy how Muslims are losing their minds over Halloween in Saudi Arabia. And like, why do you say that, Bilal? Is Halloween haram? Of course it's haram. Let me tell you a story. Okay. When my daughter was young, my eldest daughter, she was like a toddler at this time, and we were living in Toronto. And at this time, we had neighbors who were, Pakistani. They're like these Jamaat Tabligh types. So they're religious neighbors, good people. They just came from Pakistan, whatever. The father had a massive beard and whatnot. And, we're just trying to, and our kids were like similar in age. Okay. And, we would visit them, they would visit us and whatnot. And, like I said, they had just gotten here. And one time we went to our neighbor's house. It was around Halloween time. They invited us over. And we go over there. And their kids, right? This is back like in the it had to be the 90s. It had to be the 90s. Right? Their kids were dressing up for Halloween. And my wife and I, we were like shocked. We were like stunned, like, because we're like, these people are supposed to be religious. Right? We're like, what's going on here? And we're talking to them and like, do you know what Halloween is? Like, why are you, we're trying to advise them. And they insisted that they send their kids out for Halloween. Why? Because other kids are doing it and they don't want their kids to feel left out. And, blase, blase, blase. You know how it goes, right? Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sister Tika. Okay? So y'all know how it goes. So I was shocked. Because every year in those days, Sheikh Abdullah Hakim Quick, he would give a lecture on Halloween. And we were, back in those days, like everybody was pretty much on point about Halloween. In those days, nobody would even think about sending their kids out for Halloween from the Muslims. They weren't doing it. That was the first time I had ever seen anything like that in all my time being Muslim. Right? I never witnessed it, and that was a very shocking experience for me. And then I was like, how can we deal with these people, right? You know what I mean? So here you have a situation, okay? On one hand, you have your Saudi apologist, okay? In which KSA, they can do no wrong, Balad Tawheed, and Allah bless the Memlaka, and Allah bless the Memlaka, right? And so on and so forth, right? And so on and so forth, right? And on the other hand, you have an entire group of Muslims who really, they never had not even a mustard seed worth of love for the kingdom. Not at all. Okay? And they're looking for every single opportunity to criticize it. Y'all hearing me? They're looking for every single opportunity to criticize the kingdom. So we're just going to watch a couple of videos first, right? Nothing much. So let me just get this all set up first so we can get into this, all right? Y'all ready? Like, subscribe, share. Hit me up on Patreon, y'all. Hit me up on Patreon. Support this channel on PayPal. Support the channel on what you would call it? Well Simple. My Cash App right there. Okay? And on Patreon. Give me a few minutes. Let me set this all up. If you guys are going to be in for a ride tonight, if you guys have been following the Saudi thing, I'm about to blow your mind, okay? Believe me, you have not seen a video like this yet. Just trust me, okay? So let me just build up for it. Most of y'all ain't even ready, as usual. And you better share this one. If you have people who are watching this Saudi stuff, look at here, y'all. Like, subscribe, share. Here we go. Just give me a minute. It's just slow as crap. Sorry. Give me a minute, y'all. There we go. All right, let me share this. Hold on. Where is it? There we go. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Are y'all hearing this okay? My internet is really slow right now. Press number 1 if you guys can hear me fine, please.
The origin of Halloween is deeply rooted in satanic rituals such as dressing satanic-type costumes like witches, devils, and other evil characters, and sweet sacrifice for the devil. It is indeed the direct worship of Shaitan, because in this ritual people are not giving sacrifice to an idol or something, but it's a sacrifice for Shaitan himself. And today we see Saudi authorities allowing this ritual to take place in the land that the companions of our Prophet ﷺ fought and died, sacrificing their blood to bring Tawheed and to clean it from any type of idol worshipping. It is indeed the biggest step for Iblis and his army to attack our youngsters and fill their hearts with fitna to a degree that they unconsciously worship Shaitan only some steps away from the haram, where people used to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
All right. So that's the first one. And there's another one I want to show y'all. Okay. Just give me a moment so I can set this up. Okay. And then we're going to get into it. All right. Y'all ready? Let's see. Can y'all hear me? Okay. We got number ones up in here. Okay. Give me a moment. All right. Let me set this up here. And like I said, this is not going to be like any other thing you heard about Saudi Arabia and Halloween before. Okay. Just give me a few moments. Okay. Give me a minute, yo. All right, here we go.
It has been alleged that the moon has been sighted for Halloween in Saudi. Commiserations to all those people that will be celebrating. As you can see, the people are confused. So go to your local mosque to see when it will be celebrated. This dude is probably doing it tomorrow. Allah knows best.
That's a genius.
Nowadays, we are constantly seeing LGBTQ and other anti-Islamic content pop up in kids' movies, TV shows today, and let's start spreading it.
Assalamu alaikum, guys, and welcome to another episode of Smile to Jannah. Halloween in Saudi Arabia is being shared on social media, and people are surprised why this is happening in Saudi. The people in Saudi, the liberal folk, are frustrated, and they're saying, why are people judging us? Don't judge me, Tupac's line. And their notion is, look, other countries have liberalized and they're being successful, and why are you trying to inhibit us? Well, the reason is because Saudi Arabia is the center when it comes to Islam. It has Makkah, Medina, the prophets, well, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the companions have walked on there. It's the hub of al-Islam. And that's why we as Muslims, we expect more from Saudi, because they have experienced Islam with a concentration that other countries and civilizations may not necessarily have. That's why. And we expect Saudi to be more cognizant of the fact that them liberalizing in this aspect, or them liberalizing and copying the West, is not suitable for someone like them. I mean, the example is like that of a disbeliever and a hypocrite. Hypocrite will be in the lowest levels of the hellfire as opposed to the disbeliever. Why? Because the hypocrite has seen the faith and the religion. Yeah. And that's why we have more of an expectation of Saudi. We understand that, look, Saudi's oil is running out and Saudi wants to liberalize and show itself to be more accommodating to the tourists and the West. We get that, yeah? And the influence of the West on Saudi has been significant since Lawrence of Arabia, and we know The Economic Hitman by John Perkins. Yeah, he also talks about how, you know, the higher-ups aspire to the West and that sort of stuff. But Halloween is like the epitome. It's like the peak of paganism. I mean, if you want to do something, I mean, Halloween is a bit too bait. I mean, Hallow bloody ween. You know what I'm
All right, we get the point. Okay? So now, family, let's get into the business. Y'all ain't ready for this. Okay? That was Smile to Jannah. He does a commentary channel as well. But look at here. When it comes to Saudi Arabia celebrating Halloween, okay? You might recall that I said several times that when I was teaching in Saudi Arabia, I would tell my students, you know, you watch. In 30 years, Saudi Arabia will be Bahrain. And they would look at me funny saying, Saudi Arabia, no, but it's Tawheed and all this kind of stuff, right? They go, you watch. But my only mistake was I said 30 years. I should have said 10 or 15 years, right? Because the speed at which they are westernizing is way quicker than I could have anticipated. However, some of y'all are out here rejoicing at the religious fall of Saudi. And the truth is, you never loved them to begin with. Okay? Everything you nitpick against the kingdom, like every single thing, like the brother from, whatchamacallit, Smile to Jannah, it's not befitting for Saudi Arabia. Look at here. Saudi Arabia is a country like any other country. Okay? Countries have been divvied up and the borders decided by white folks after World War I and World War II. Before this period, there were no such things as countries. During the dawah of Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab, rahimahullah, do you know what the Saudis were doing in what we now call Saudi Arabia? Back in those days, it was called Najd and Hijaz and these type of places. There were regions. Okay? It wasn't a single country back in those days. You know what they were doing? Do you know what they were doing back in those days? So now, look here. Every single thing you nitpick against them with, your own countries are guilty of. And this is the tangible, this ingenuousness that the Ummah has been plagued with. When we rejoice at the destruction of other Muslims, calling them hypocrites. Y'all hearing me? But the reality is, the ones who these words, it rolls off their tongue so easily. When you inspect the situation, they are the true hypocrites and to demand the people to follow them in their own desires in Islam. Like Allah sent the Quran and the Sunnah and my opinion of the two. You get it? That's how they look at, that's how their worldview is about Islam. Y'all hearing me? Saudi Arabia celebrating Halloween, yeah, it's a grave thing, of course. It is. But when you see the reactions of the people, and me, I wasn't even going to touch this, none of my business, but let's inspect the situation, shall we? Shall we inspect the situation? Shall we expect the kind of this despicable insincerity that has been thrown around by the people? Those who cherry pick, who you will speak about as long as it suits your own agenda, and the deafening silence of your own outrageous ideologies, which you pastor the words of Quran and Sunnah all over without actually any Quran and Sunnah. Y'all hearing me? So let's look at some of the Muslim countries, shall we? Shall we look at some of the Muslim countries, family? Like, subscribe, share. Hit me up on Patreon. Remember the story I told you that we out here in the West, as a matter of fact, I don't know any convert family that practices Halloween. I can't think of a single one of them. We were fine with our Quran and Sunnah until we met Easterners coming here trying to pander to Zaddy in them. Many from the South Asian community, many, few from the Arab community, going out for Halloween and stuff, Halloween parties and whatnot. But yet, we don't hear a thing about them. Like, not a single thing. Every single year, Sheikh Abdullah Hakim Quick gets the most amazing lectures on Halloween. And every single year, more and more Muslims are celebrating Halloween. Like, what? How is this happening? But let's look. Let's inspect some of these countries, shall we? Let's inspect. Y'all ain't ready. You are not ready. One second, y'all. You guys ain't ready for this. One second, y'all. Watch this, y'all. Watch this. Y'all are not ready. Y'all see this? Family, somebody put in the chat, what country is this? What country is this? Jazakallah khair, may Allah reward you and bless you and multiply it for you 1,000-fold. The Hood Haitian, hayakumullah. May everybody say Ameen. What country is this? Thank you. It's Egypt. It's Egypt. Somebody put in the chat the number of your YouTubian elite that have given Egypt that work for celebrating Halloween. Just put the number. Just put the number, please. This is Egypt. We're not done. How many of your YouTubian elite? Thank you, Tonio. 0. We're not done yet. We are not done. By the way, this is Associated Press, not 2022. Let me just get the date out here for you. 5 years ago. And not a single one of your YouTubian elites had any work for Egyptians celebrating Halloween. Not one. Nada. Not a single one. We're not done. Y'all think it's jokes up in here. Watch this, yo. One second. Let me get it. 1 second, y'all. Sorry for the inconvenience. My internet is really, really lagging today. Brother, but there's still a Muslim majority there. Is there a Muslim majority in Saudi Arabia? Is there a Muslim majority in Saudi Arabia? We're not done. Watch this, y'all. One second. Come on, internet. One second, y'all. I'll show you guys one more because this internet's going too slow. I apologize. Let me just try to get it up, queued up for y'all. You can't even see anything. 1 second. There we go. You know what country this is? You know what country this is? What country is this? Somebody put it in the chat, please. What country is this? Thank you, Turkey. Turkey. So we got Egypt. We got Turkey celebrating Halloween. We got Pakistan celebrating Halloween. Indonesia celebrating Halloween. So many Muslim countries celebrate Halloween. So many, long before Saudi. And I mean long before. Yeah, that's the point. Ironic, all I see is clowns. Yes. Ironic, all I see is clowns. But you know who, out of all people, yes, they celebrate Christmas in Iraq, in Egypt, they celebrate Christmas. I'll be damned if Iran turns up. Your wish is my command, my brother. Watch this. Watch this, man. You guys can. I had a video back Pakistan. I'm not going to show it because the internet is just lagging way too much, right? But yeah, the main players who always criticizing Saudi, they've been celebrating Halloween for years. Long years. And they come to the West and they have no issues sending their kids out for trick-or-treat and stuff. No problems whatsoever. So here's the question. Does Egypt celebrating Halloween, or Pakistan celebrating Halloween, or whatever Muslim country it is celebrating Halloween, does it exonerate Saudi Arabia for celebrating Halloween? Yes or no? Yes or no? Put in the chat. Thank you. If we had admonished them back then, Saudi would be wary to do it. Thank you. But the only people I've seen in the West that made it a point not to celebrate Halloween were mostly the converts. And every single year, they're warning the people not to celebrate Halloween. Sajid, he even put out a book on his channel about the dangers of Halloween and stuff. And every single year, I see, with my own eyes, more and more Muslims celebrating Halloween. So why are you surprised that Saudi's celebrating it? Like, why? What's the surprise? What's the shock? This is because we as Muslims, we really abandoned the grassroots. And we're very used to finger pointing and outrageous hatred for other Muslims and not wanting good for each other and putting our own 2 cents when we shouldn't. Y'all see me? Y'all hearing me? See, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Either the dawah of Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab, rahimahullah, was extreme and he was killing innocent Muslims, or the Salafi dawah is extreme and they refute innocent Muslims, or Muhammad bin Salman is extreme and he's westernizing innocent Muslims. But you need to pick a struggle, okay? You can't have it all. Pick a single struggle. Y'all hearing me? In our city, there's a masjid that has a fair for the kids on Halloween. Like, what you want me to say? What more you want me to say? These are the people that are criticizing Saudi Arabia for celebrating Halloween. The people who are celebrating Halloween in their countries, they got no work. Wallahi, in my 30 years plus being Muslim, I have not seen a single Muslim criticize another single Muslim country for celebrating Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving. None. But the second Saudi Arabia does it, all of a sudden it goes viral. The response is one-sided, to say the least. And this goes to show that the Muslims are absolutely horrifically off code. Y'all hearing me? I celebrated Halloween once as a child, non-Muslim, dressed up as a cowboy. Mother wouldn't let us do anything death-related. I couldn't even have a skull or bone or anything. Yeah, in the black community, this was common, actually. This was common back when we were kids. We were the same kind of way, actually. You know what I mean? I think once my parents let me go out as a vampire, and that was it. You know, my sister was like all this princess stuff, you know, when we were celebrating it. But the reaction to Saudi Arabia celebrating Halloween from either the apologist, who are still with this Bala Tawheed stuff, they can't see the writing on the wall that there is a very massive shift taking place, and Islam ain't got nothing to do with it. You know, ulama getting arrested left, right, and center. Detractors and dissenters getting assassinated in different countries. Okay. And at the other side, people who had no love for Saudi to begin with, criticizing the apologists. But nobody is looking at the bigger picture. That Mohammed bin Salman, he is not really concerned about Islam like that. And throughout Islamic history, we had many leaders, many Mohammed bin Salmans. He's not the worst. He's not going to be the last either. He's definitely not the first. You know what I mean? So many people like him. You know what I mean? Ambitious, not concerned about the religion or whatnot. Saudi Arabia, what we know of Saudi Arabia for hundreds of years, was the armpit of the Ottoman Empire. They totally abandoned that place. They didn't see no benefit in the Arabs. For hundreds of years, it was like that. And the Haramain, for the Ottomans, was more a whatchamacallit, like a token of the empire. It's something that they used to use to prop up their Islamic legitimacy, the Haramain. Does it sound familiar? Does that sound familiar, family? Does it sound familiar today? I'm a convert. I had no dog in this fight. I'm not anti-Saudi. I'm not pro-Saudi. I'm just, they really don't affect me. As long as they make me make Hajj and Umrah, I'm cool. Right? I don't, you know what I mean? But here is the other crazy part of the hypocrisy with this Halloween stuff. The Halloween stuff went viral. Okay? The Halloween stuff went viral, right? Well, let me just show you one more thing before we continue now. 1 second, yo. One second, yo. I told y'all this is not going to be like your typical Halloween commentary. Didn't I tell y'all? Surprise! A surprise. Now you can go to your YouTubian elite and say, well, why didn't you criticize your own country for celebrating Halloween? Go to them, show them this video. Why didn't you say anything about Pakistan? Why didn't you say anything about Egypt? Why didn't you say anything about Lebanon? Why didn't you say anything about Algeria and stuff? You ask them. Halloween in Saudi Arabia, ignorance under the mask of modernity. Who wrote this? Out of all people on earth, Tehran Times. You have got to be kidding me. So let's see what they write. The festival of Halloween was celebrated in Saudi Arabia, which revelers dressed up as scary costumes flocked to the event held in the capital, Riyadh. As a part of continuing Riyadh season, the Scary Weekend, that's what they call it, event was held on Thursday and Friday in Riyadh's Boulevard. The boulevard was transformed into a costume party filled with free admission, dressed up guests and don frightful attire. The purpose of the event was to display horrifying disguises, display yokels, and Saudi inventive creations. It was also intended to create an environment that was enjoyable, thrilling, and is exciting for visitors to learn the backstories of the various character outfits. Halloween celebrations in Saudi Arabia caused widespread controversy and social networking sites after the pictures and videos of people dressed up in costumes for Halloween surfaced. The weekend horror costume evil topped up Twitter and lightning speed. It is also once again ignited controversy over what is halal or haram to join the West in celebrating non-Islamic events. You cannot make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Who said it, y'all? Tehran Times. They want to know what is halal or haram in regards to wearing scary costumes. Y'all hearing me? Because they're confused. So they got to come and criticize Saudi too. Tehran Times. Out of all of the people in the dunya. Tehran Times, we got a question for y'all. Okay. Just one question. I hope you don't mind, Tehran Times. But we need to ask you this question. Okay. We need to ask you this. Did you understand the question, Tehran Times? You didn't understand the question? Let me ask you again, okay? I'm going to ask you again. Did you get the question? Tehran Times. This is Iraq, by the way. But we didn't hear you say anything about Iraq, Tehran Times. Why is that? Why the silence? We're just wondering. Let me ask you one more time. Let me ask you one more time. Okay? Do y'all know the answer to the question? Do y'all know the answer to the question? This is so crazy, man. This is crazy. This is so crazy, man. The bigger picture is not Saudi Arabia or Pakistan or Egypt all celebrating Halloween. Saudi Arabia just happens to be the last holdout. I don't think they celebrate Halloween in any of the Black African countries. But in the North African Arab countries, 100% they do. However, the real conundrum that we're in is the infrastructure is being built for the coming of the Dajjal right before our eyes. And people are being misled faster than you can say the word misled. And there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, when during the end times, that the fitna will be so great that a person will go to sleep a believer and he'll wake up a disbeliever. And a person will wake up in the morning a believer, and by the time the evening time comes, he'll be a disbeliever. That's how great the fitna is. And what we have is an infrastructure, particularly with social media, where distractions have become the new currency of the people. And so instead of dealing with what is important and being consistent, they pick sides over what is trending. And then they wonder why they're running into problems. Y'all hearing me? So the ironic thing about all of this is that you see how much importance the entire Muslim world has given Halloween in Saudi Arabia, correct? They have given this extreme importance, correct? And even me, I didn't want to talk. I wasn't even going to talk about it, but it's like the last person that sent me a video was on Instagram this morning. And I was like, I got these videos so many times. Like, you want me to talk about this? He was like, you already dealt with this. He told me that because you already dealt with this topic. It's up to you. I'm like, cool. Okay, let me deal with it. But I'm going to deal with it in a way that nobody else has dealt with it. Has this been a way that nobody else has dealt with it? Yes or no? Did y'all know that they were celebrating Halloween in other Muslim countries like that? Did you know? I promise you, majority of you didn't. Because your YouTubian elites are not telling you this. It only becomes relevant when Saudi does it. Exactly. You didn't know. You didn't know. Look at here. Just to show you. Watch this, y'all.
Is pushing for a temporary ban on the recruitment and export of Kenyan domestic workers to Saudi Arabia. Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary Macharia Kamau, while appearing before the National Assembly Labour Committee, accused the Ministry of Labour and the National Employment Agency of bungling the recruitment process.
41 Kenyans have died in Saudi Arabia in the last 9 months, according to the Saudi. The deaths were majorly as a result of cardiac arrest. Members of parliament, however, say they are not buying into the report.
We have compared the deaths. So it's not possible that you have 3 deaths in Qatar, 1 in UAE, 2 in Kuwait, none in Oman, 2 in Bahrain, and you have 40, 50 in the other country. Because the numbers may be larger, it's true, but they're not that much larger.
Family, which is a more worthy topic to talk about to criticize Saudi Arabia about? Halloween or this? Somebody put it in the chat, please. Let's take a vote. Let's take a vote. Which topic is more worthy for your YouTubian Da'i elites to focus on? Saudi Arabia celebrating Halloween, or 41 Kenyans dying in Saudi Arabia in a time span of 9 months for going to work? I want to make sure that I'm not tripping. Let's take it to a vote, y'all. Which one is more worthy to talk about? We got one vote. Tika says this one. Tika says this one. This is not even the worst. This is not even the worst news with regarding to Saudi. Come on, let's vote, y'all. Which one deserves more attention? I mean, it's the slavery in Saudi. That's two for this one. I think the best way to question it is to look at different sources and writings from their prominent ulama. We have a conclusion. That's with okay. So this talk the looks like a resistant nikah. All right, it's talking about a different topic here. All right, but we have 2 votes for this one. 2 votes. Let's vote, y'all. Which deserves more attention from your YouTubian elites? 41 Kenyans dying in Saudi Arabia in a time span of 9 months. Let's put it, they get being murdered. They're being murdered because they can. Because Saudis do not go to jail for murdering Africans or Sri Lankans or Bengalis or Indians. Which deserves more attention? Come on, y'all. Vote. Let's vote. We got 2 for this. See, here's the thing. Y'all had no outrage or crocodile tears for this. But don't let Saudi Arabia celebrate Halloween, though. Don't let Saudi Arabia celebrate Halloween. They killing Africans left, right, and center? Yeah. As long as they don't celebrate Halloween. Where's the hypocrisy now? Where's the hypocrisy? The truth is, trends and influence are the new Quran and Sunnah. That's the truth. If your influencers can't monetize it, they won't talk about it. But if they can monetize it, because it's trending, not only will they monetize it and talk about it and exploit it, but they will make sure that their listeners and their followers believe that whatever they're talking about is from the Quran and the Sunnah. Like this dude. Who remembers this dude? Like this, let me get him up here. Like this dude. Who remembers this?
Say, and I don't mean you personally, but we can say things like, well, the West is not bearing sufficient responsibility for its colonial past. And so at some level, that kind of devolves down to the individual. It's
so
like,
let me kind of rephrase it then. I think that's more of a left-wing criticism. It's like, there's reparations and affirmative action programs. I'm not advocating any of that, and nor do I even believe in any of that, to be honest with you.
Nor me.
Yeah, so what I was putting as an alternative to that is this.
Told you. Just like that dude. The Muslims were finished with Jordan Peterson. Who invited him back? Who invited him back? Why? Because he can monetize that. And then he can hide behind Quran and Sunnah and say, oh, I'm just making dawah. Word? If you're making dawah to Jordan Peters, do it in private then. Why you need a camera in front of him? Why? Do you have to make dawah in front of a camera? Is it a must? And on top of that, you made sure to let Jordan Peterson know that the righteous call for reparations from black folk is leftist. And we're still waiting for these leftists that are giving us reparations so we can vote for them. We want their names, please. Y'all are tripping. But 41 Kenyans can die in Saudi Arabia. Not to mention the Ugandans, not to mention the Bengalis and whoever else. But because they are poor black people from Africa, mind you, it's not worth drawing attention to that. Draw attention to Zadi. So when Saudi Arabia follows Zadi and you're pushing Zadi, why do you have a problem with it? Like what's the issue? That's your whole dawah, isn't it? Your dawah is about the biscuits and the fried chicken and even the smell of the biscuits and stuff. So why are you coming to criticize other countries, all these countries were made by Zaddy, for the benefit of Zaddy. Every last one of them. Your own countries, all your leaders in your own countries, every last one of them have been put there by Zaddy. Ask Pakistan why Imran Khan is not the prime minister of Pakistan today. Why? Ask them. Who voted him out? The Pakistani people or Zaddy? Y'all are tripping. You're not asking the right questions, people. There is a war going on for your mind. And to be honest, when you think about your influencers and how they operate, they have the ability to make thousands of people believe a thing even if it's not true. And they do it. They do it all the time. How many Muslims now are attacking other Muslims on behalf of the enemy of Islam, Jordan Peterson, including me? Muslims are attacking me on behalf of the honor of Jordan Peterson. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? The enemy of Islam. Who did that? Did the Quran do this? No. Did the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ do this with the Sunnah? No. Who did that? Your influencers did it. Your influencers did it. Muslims. I mean, this is insane. Muslims are accusing me of hating Andrew Tate because he converted to Islam. Like, what do I look like to you? Do I look like you? Like, do I look like you? Just give me a single quote that would make you even remotely think that I have a problem with Andrew Tate converting to Islam. What are you, stupid? Well, you are stupid. Let's just be real. You are stupid. Sorry to say, you're dumb. You're dumb. I'm out here talking about how your influencers will exploit the conversion of Andrew Tate for their benefit. I made it very clear, and they're doing it. And even by name, I named them, and they did it. But you can't see that. The only thing you can see is that Bilal had a problem with Andrew Tate converting. Like, you are dumb. You're dumb. I'm sorry, you're just dumb. And I don't talk to dumb people. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. Like, what do you take me for? You can't see what your influencers are doing with this conversion right now as we are speaking? Didn't I call it? Didn't I call it? Nobody else did. Just like nobody else would talk about 41 Kenyans died in Saudi Arabia, but they'll talk about Halloween in Saudi. That's what's important to them. That's the new religion. And this is the infrastructure being set for Masih Dajjal. Because if you can follow these people, If you can follow these people, then following the Dajjal will be nothing. It'll be absolutely nothing. If you can go around talking about Trump 2024 as a believer, then of course you're gonna. Of course, it's gonna be easy for the Dajjal to come and confuse you. Is that a joke? The leaders in your countries are not there because you chose them. The leaders are there in your countries because your enemy chose them. Every last one of them. The only exception probably is Saudi Arabia, really. But even them, they are not a true exception anyways. Because if you read the book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman, even though they're choosing their kings or whatnot, it's with conditions. Since King Faisal got assassinated, it was detailed very well in that book. Very, very well. And I'll tell you a story from that book, right? There is one holdout from the princess who said, we're not going to make this deal with the United States. We're going to stay on code with our brothers from Palestine. We're going to keep this oil embargo going. And they needed this prince's vote. This prince, according to John Perkins, was a religious mutawa, like the way he described him. Very religious, upright man. This is how he is describing this prince. Do you know how they got this prince to get on board? Do you know? This religious prince who said, no, we ain't doing it, and they needed his support. You know how they got his support? John Perkins went and hired one of his, as he described, sluttish ex-girlfriends, blonde-headed, blue-eyed woman, to go and seduce the religious prince so that he can come on board with the American plan to build the infrastructure in Saudi Arabia. And in return, Saudi will pay American engineering contractors to build all that infrastructure you see in Saudi Arabia today. It's the American contractors who built Aramco and their universities and their streets and whatnot, and sent billions back to American contracting corporations. And they did this intentionally to make sure that the Saudi economy was deeply entwined with American corporations, so that they would think twice about putting an embargo against America again. I get it? And how did they do it? With a white woman. That's all it took. He sold out the entire... he sold out the Muslim Ummah for some tail. Religious. Mutawar. So don't tell me about you criticizing Saudi Arabia for some Halloween, because you do it for less. You do it for less. You do it for YouTube views. You do it for algorithms. You do it for attaboys and likes and subscribes and stuff. That's what you do it for. And you probably get some tail on the side. Let's just be real. Let's just be real. It's very easy to criticize from the outside looking in. It's so easy to do that. But it's difficult to raise your hands in the third of the night and make dua for the Muslims. That's not so easy, is it? And I promise you, the ones who criticize don't probably barely wake up for Fajr, let alone in a third of the night and making dua for the Ummah. I promise you that. I'm telling you, man, the Muslims now in our time are in the shape that the Muslims are in right now is scary. It's very scary. Very, very scary. People will believe anything. And they don't side with the Quran and the Sunnah. They side with their influences. That's the new Quran and Sunnah. Influence and trends. That's it. They don't even talk about the Quran and Sunnah. They don't talk about being on code with the Muslims. Y'all hearing me? But anyways, I apologize for the slow internet. And that's what I got for you tonight. Like, subscribe, share. Hit me up on Patreon. Okay, you can support the channel as well on PayPal and on the Cash App that you see there for Wealth Simple. All right. If you're going to support the channel, please support on PayPal. Right. Please support on the Cash App. Please support on the Patreon. Right. Somebody told me the other day, one of my Patreons says there's no videos on my Patreon. I was like, what? And I had to look because I thought the videos were going on because I have it automated. How come y'all don't tell me this stuff, man? Come on, you're supposed to have my back. I'm just one dude. You know I'm doing this all this stuff by myself? Like legit. Y'all gotta help me out here, man. Come on, guys. Help me out. If you see me slipping, just let the brother know, man. You know, I'm just one guy out here. You know, I finished work and I was like, okay, I got to do this live and everything like that. And you know what I mean? And I got a life outside of YouTube. You know, I'm all up in the struggle, just like you guys, man. Straight up, like I'm in the struggle. I'm just like y'all, man. The only difference between me and y'all is like Allah gave me this voice, and that's it. You know. So, but I'm not that much different from y'all, really, right? So you got to help a brother out. You got to help a brother out, okay? I'm not special or anything like that. You know what I mean? So if you see me slipping and say, hey, Bilal, you know your Patreon looking kind of lean? I'm like, what you talking about? What you talking about? All right? Anyways, Allah reward you all. May Allah reward you all. And may Allah bless you all and bless everybody who participated. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك واشهد ان لا اله الا انت واستغفرك واتوب اليك.